update, 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 update. I'm going to demonstrate debounce today. And I'm going to start from a kind of different angle. So you have a JavaScript here that listens on the onChange event on this input text field. So whenever I type something here, I update this text underneath here, which is a RTF text block. And so if I write Carlson, it immediately updates for every key I press. And that is simple to achieve. You just write, you just throw it into the val function of the RTF itself. And I append you wrote before the string itself. But what if you don't want to run this every time? You don't want to run it all the time. Then you can use debounce. I'm going to explain a more realistic scenario afterwards. So we can remove that. And I prepared a little code. Just paste it in here. And I uncomment this code. So every time someone press a key here on this text field, we call the function say hello debounce with the value on this text field. And what is this function then? We go to the unload function and we can see that I have declared that here in the window variable. So I declared a function called say hello debounce, which is the one we used on the change event. And we declare it this way. We use our JavaScript API, that's Zervicepoint, and the debounce function will in turn return a function after you run it, and it takes two parameters. The first being a function that you want to debounce. And the second parameter is the number of milliseconds that you want it to be quiet before you call the first argument, namely the function you supplied. And say hello is a function that we declared just here above. And in here we do actually what we did before. We take the text you wrote and we throw in we put it in the RTF. So we take this string value here, and that comes in here, and then we put it here next to you wrote. Okay, and so if we try this, I refresh here, and I write you wrote you. L Yule, 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 Yule. You get the idea. The quiet milliseconds are quite high here, so we wait for 3 whole seconds before we run the function here. Let's change that to a more realistic or perhaps a better number. So now we'll only wait 1 second. So we write you must. And if we spam like hell, note that I spam for more than 1 second now. And now I stay quiet for 1 second and it gets run. Okay. So that's how it works, basically. And a good scenario for this is when you have a text field like this and you want to do something with the value that someone provides in it, like run a web service towards an API, and you want to limit the amount of calls being made to this API, then you can use Debounce yeah, it's a good tool for those scenarios. And that's it for this week's Code Cookie. And make sure to comment and subscribe, blah, 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 blah. And have a nice January.